Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Sachs, Professor Emeritus of Psychology, Computer Applications, Office Technologies, and Counseling at Los Angeles Valley College. And I am going to be your professor for the upcoming CAOT 85 class, which is a class in Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to tell you a bunch of stuff about it. I'll tell you that almost everything I'm going to talk about now is already in written materials that you'll see when you sign up for class and go through all of that. But I thought I'd give you a little more information about it than just what's in writing. First of all, CAOT 85 stands for Computer Applications, Office Technologies 85. And the class is supposedly about something called Spreadsheet. But the fact is, it's about Microsoft Excel 2019, which is a part of Microsoft Office 365. Now, I just said Excel 2019, and you might be thinking, wait a minute, the place where I'm working is using a different version, maybe an earlier version or something. Don't worry about it. Here's the deal. Microsoft is a really big company, and they create new versions of Excel and other parts of Microsoft Office like Word and Access and PowerPoint and stuff. And every once in a while they come up with a new version that's only very slightly different from the other version. So when you take our class, which is in Excel 2019, you're still going to be competent in earlier versions of Excel and probably almost all of the later versions of Excel. So don't worry that the version is 2019, okay? Our class is an online-only class. We're not going to meet on campus. As a matter of fact, I can't even require you to meet on campus with me. That's kind of good. That'd be quite a trick because I don't even live in California. So this is pretty interesting. But because it's an online class, I can't tell you and interactively in a classroom answer questions and lay out all the information. So there's a whole bunch of information that I've put in writing about our class that you need to kind of go through. Where are you going to find this information? Well, as you've probably seen from the LAVC website, we're going to be using a system called Canvas, C-A-N-V-A-S. That's going to be our main system for communications. And Canvas has some very important elements to it. One of the elements in Canvas is the modules. When you first get into Canvas, by the way, when you enroll in our class, the Los Angeles Community College District, LAVC, Los Angeles Valley College, is part of the Los Angeles Community College District, is automatically going to enroll you in Canvas. And you should be getting instructions on how to get into Canvas once you're enrolled. If you look at the Valley College website and look at the online classes stuff, you'll find a link to get into there. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff in Canvas. Let me tell you about some of that. Canvas is going to be our main software for communications between you and me. For example, there's a part of Canvas called the calendar. And when you look at the calendar, you're going to see all the stuff coming up for the semester, or virtually all the stuff. So the moment you look at the calendar, you're going to see when all the exams are going to be. You're going to see when the different kinds of homework are due. You're going to see all of this stuff in the calendar. I think that you should look at the Canvas calendar every single day, because there's a small chance that once in a while I'll have to add something or take something off the calendar, so you should look there. Another really significant part of Canvas is an area called announcements. When you go online and you look at Canvas, as a matter of fact, you're probably there now looking at this video, you'll notice that there's a section called announcements, and some of those announcements show up kind of at the top of your screen, or at least they're supposed to. The deal is that especially early in the semester, there are going to be tons of announcements, lots of information. You might think to yourself, oh man, how can I deal with all of this stuff, all of this information? So let me tell you, the amount of information that you need to read about the class, totally separate from the subject matter of Excel, becomes less and less and less as the semester goes on. But right at the beginning, I need to tell you a whole bunch of stuff, and you're going to find it in Canvas. Very often, almost every day, I will be putting up one or more announcements about the class. For example, before we have a major exam, I will publish a briefing for the exam, and in the Canvas announcements, I will tell you that the briefing is ready, and here's where you will find it. Or you're going to have to be turning in something called an affirmation to me that basically says you're not going to cheat for the class. The announcement of when you need to do that appears in Canvas. So on the left side of your screen in Canvas, look for announcements as soon as you get there every day. Click on announcements, because the ones that appear on the first screen you see may not be all of them, and then read through them, and it'll help you keep up. Another part of Canvas are the modules. Here's the deal. When you first start to work through our class, you need to go through two modules. One of them is called the super module, and the super module gives you a whole bunch of information about the class. Of course, you want to know that. It helps you deal with the class. And then there's module number 1. There's only one numbered module, module number 1. Module number 1 has 9 units in it, and each unit helps you learn more about the class. For example, what do you need to do for homework? What's the information about the textbook? When are things going to be due? How do the exams look? Where do you get the publisher files to do your homework? All of that stuff is in the modules. At the end of most of the units in the modules, remember you see these in Canvas when you get into Canvas, and on the left side of your screen you're going to see something that says modules, and go into that. They're going to be different modules, and at the end of most of them there's a little quiz, but the quiz is really easy. I mean, it is ridiculously easy. It's just to help you commit to actually reading the units within the module so you know what's going on. Canvas also has an inbox. They call it an inbox, and this is the way that you and I will be able to communicate individually, you and me, back and forth. In the inbox, if you need to send me a message, of course I will respond to your messages. If you need to send me a message, you need to address it to me. You'll see my name in the list of possible recipients. My full name is Dr. Stephen Mark Sachs. I'm Professor Emeritus at Valley College, but Canvas probably calls me Stephen Sachs. So if you need to ask me something or tell me something, go to the inbox and send me a message that way. Let me look down, make sure I'm covering everything. The modules tell you about the textbook, which you need to get. They tell you about the Canvas app. Canvas has an app that you can put on your phone if you happen to have an iPhone or an Android type phone. And whenever I do put up an announcement, you can actually get a notice there so you can really keep up easily. So I recommend really strongly that you get the Canvas app and put it on your phone. Let me see other stuff I want to tell you about. Oh, the class is Microsoft Excel 2019, right? Excel is something called, generically it's called a spreadsheet program. It helps you organize information in what kind of looks like a checkerboard. It's kind of like a grid. Microsoft calls spreadsheets worksheets. Why do they give it a different name? Because Microsoft people are very rich and they're industry standard, and they make up their own names for all kinds of stuff. So even if you're very familiar with spreadsheets, you don't have to be for the class. You don't have to know anything about them until our class progresses. But you're going to see Microsoft makes up a whole bunch of names. But throughout the world, Microsoft Excel is industry standard. Most businesses throughout the world that use computers use Microsoft Excel, which you're going to be studying and you're going to become really good at it, to various extents. So that's really important. Another piece of software that we're going to be using is called SAM. SAM, and you'll read all about this in the module. So this is not a surprise to you, and you don't have to scramble to figure out what I'm talking about, because you'll read it as you go through the modules. SAM is the section that has all of the exams that we're going to do in the class, and there's also online training. So what happens is there are 3 ways that you get information about Excel for our class. One of them is the SAM online training. There's a separate little training thing for each of the 6 chapters of the textbook that we're going to go over. So that's one way you learn about it. You also have the textbook, and you go through each of those 6 chapters, and in the modules it tells you about the homework you need to do and submit to me. By the way, you only submit the homework to me twice in the whole semester, once around halfway through and once at the end. So you have to do all the homework, but you only send it to me twice. And then there's me. If you have questions about the subject matter, like, oh, I tried to do this and I couldn't make it work, I don't understand it, ask me a question. You go into the inbox, you send me a message, and you say, you know, I tried to do this and I really don't understand it. Help me with this, exactly what's going on, why did what I did not work? If you decide to send me an inquiry about subject matter, something in the book you didn't understand, for example, or something in the homework you didn't understand, if you can, attach a copy of the workbook, or in effect, the spreadsheet that you're working on, and that'll help me answer you more quickly. Now, how quickly do I answer stuff? So here's the deal. I'm teaching this class, and the fact is, I don't sit at my computer 24 hours a day waiting for people to ask me questions and answer them in a snap. Sometimes I don't look at my email for 2 whole days. So if you ask me something or try to communicate something with me, which I love doing, I mean, you know, we're in class together, even though we're not physically together. If I haven't answered you in 3 days, send me another inquiry and say, you know, I sent you this before, I didn't get an answer, please answer it now. Usually I'll answer within 1 or 2 days, but we'll see. Let me see other stuff I want to tell you. Canvas has an app. I'm looking at some notes I have to try to cover most of the stuff, so stand by a second. Spreadsheet industry standard, textbook, including the... Okay, that's basically all of it. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself because it's in my notes. I've been teaching courses for decades. I started teaching for Los Angeles Valley College in 1976 in the psychology department, and I actually have taught for years in psychology and computer applications and counseling. I've also been a counselor at Valley College. But the deal is, I've also done a lot of private work out in business and industry. So I'm not just an academic person. I have experience in what companies want their employees to do, particularly in Access. So some of the stuff that I teach you, or that I will say in some of the videos that I make for you, come from that real life experience, and it's not just reading stuff out of textbooks. So the deal is, this is a really good class, and once you finish it, you're going to be probably the expert where you work or where you're going to work. Even though there's a tremendous amount of information in the beginning, I already kind of warned you about that. There's going to be a lot of information at the beginning. Please tolerate it. Let me tell you this. I just finished teaching a summer school class in Microsoft Office. It was not just Access. It was Access and I'm sorry, not just Excel. It was Excel and Access and Word and PowerPoint. Almost 3/4 of the students earned letter grades of A. I mean, it's not hard to get a good grade for the class as long as you do all the stuff that I say you're supposed to do, and you do it on time. And if you ask a question, you ask me. So I'm here to help you and to go through the class with you and to answer your questions and help you become essentially an expert in Excel. Is there more stuff in Excel that we're going to cover in class? Yeah. For example, the textbook that you're going to get has more chapters than just the 6 that we're going to cover and that I'm going to test you on. But that's going to become an amazingly valuable asset for you for the rest of your life working with Excel. So you get a great area where you can check things out and that you can refer to long after the class is over. So I want you to do well. I love when students do well. If you follow instructions, if you study all the stuff, if you do the online training, if you assiduously do the homework and ask me if you don't understand something, you and I are going to go through this class and you should do magnificently, and you will be so powerful with Excel. It will be life-changing, or that's my intention. So let's do this together. I want to help you. I'm available to you, and I think the class should be great. But let's do this together, okay? Bye for now.